Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. And if this is your very first time discovering my channel, yay, you're here. I've been waiting for you. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And today the movie I'm reviewing is called The Mauritanian. It opened in theaters on February 12th, and so far no video on demand date has been announced. So we'll see. The movie is rated R. It's 2 hours and 9 minutes, and I'm going to give you my movie review mom grade at the end of this to make you keep watching. So I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell. I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as tips for parents, some themes that are illustrated very well in the movie, interesting topics, and even some recommendations for other movies like this that you might also like. All right, let's dive straight in. So in a nutshell, this is a very dramatic thriller, and it's based on a true story and based on the book called Guantanamo Diary by Mohamedou Ould Slahi. And I probably didn't pronounce that correctly. I apologize. The movie begins in Mauritania, the country. You might have to look that up on Google Maps to see where it's located. But it begins 2 months after the devastating events of 9/11 here in the United States. It tells of a man who spent 14 years as a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay without ever actually being charged with a crime. As an American, it's horrifying and embarrassing to see what our government leaders did to fellow human beings in the name of national security. Now, it was a crazy time. There was a lot of fear in the world, especially here in America, and a lot of people clamoring for revenge or justice, right? It's easy to point fingers and claim the higher ground morally, but it's also really humbling to see what our military and intelligence has to deal with every day in order to make choices that do keep our country safe. Now, I'm not rationalizing anything, any of the behavior that was done at all. I'm just saying the movie paints a really interesting picture that allows us to really look at what the options were or continue to be. It's fascinating and horrifying to see what political decisions are made out of fear. This movie is probably a public relations nightmare for the United States image and military, right? And it was very uncomfortable to watch as an American. It's already earned award buzz as both Jodie Foster and Tahir Rahim have been nominated for Golden Globe Awards for their fantastic performances. This is a powerful film led by outstanding actors and very intriguing and important ideas and issues. All right, so let me tell you the long list of things that I really liked about the movie, starting with Jodie Foster. I've liked her in just about everything that she's ever done, and she has had a movie career that spans many decades. Her character hires Shailene Woodley's character to translate French in the movie, but in real life, Jodie is so multi-talented that she actually speaks French fluently and even was in a foreign film called A Very Long Engagement in 2004. It was a French foreign film. Her performance in this movie, I think, is fierce and determined, and she absolutely looks the part and is a well-deserved performance for a Golden Globe nomination. I'm filming this the day of the Golden Globe Awards, and so we're going to find out tonight who actually wins. Her performance merited a nomination. Tahir Rahim is excellent, and maybe I should have started with him because the movie is about his character. In this role, he shows an impressive range of emotions while his character and he has to endure psychological and physical torture for years. Well, as the actor, it didn't last for years, but he had to portray those emotions and the anguish and I just can't even imagine. Again, another well-deserved Golden Globe nomination. You visit Guantanamo Bay, and which is also called Gitmo, and it's a location that's been shrouded in mystery for decades. And so it was kind of interesting to actually see the facility. You get to see pictures and video footage of the real people and locations involved in the real events at the end of the rolling credits. So keep watching after the movie ends. So I felt like the contrast of being so close to a peaceful, beautiful island location is in stark contrast to the barbaric treatment that occurs to prisoners just a few hundred yards away in the buildings by the bay. That alone is a really striking imagery. One of the most powerful scenes, for me at least, was when guilt and innocence were in question, and Jodie Foster's character and Shailene Woodley's character clashed in their opinions, questioning whether not only their time but their lives were being well spent or wasted. Director Kevin MacDonald does not shy away from all of these very difficult questions, and he presents a really honest look at what hides in dark places. He also brought us the controversial movie The Last King of Scotland, which also garnered an Academy Award for the leading man in that movie. The scenes where Mohamedou Ould Salih was tortured for 70 straight days are extremely uncomfortable to watch, especially when you're not 100% certain whether or not he's guilty. And it begs the question, is that type of treatment okay if someone is guilty, or is it never okay? That uncertainty elevates the tension and makes really strong impact. The editing during those sequences I thought was really well done. Zachary Levi fans might actually be surprised to see him in a small role in this picture. And it's a type of character that he's not normally known for. I just am such a fan. I really like him. Anytime he can appear in a movie, I'm happy. Now, there were some things that I didn't like. And first of all, as much as everyone on the entire planet loves Benedict Cumberbatch, he seemed a little bit miscast for this role as a Southern military man. I mean, that's not to say that Cumberbatch doesn't give an excellent performance. He does. I'm curious to find out if you thought his American Southern accent was on point or distracting. Be sure and comment down below on all of this stuff because I love it when we get good conversations going. There are some viewers who will say, well, this movie is just another white savior film, which I think is ridiculous. But I've already read reviews saying that. And I just thought, okay, look deeper. There's a lot more to this story than that. It's a bit heavy-handed, however, from a liberal perspective. Most people want their government to protect them, but they don't want to know about the hard choices. A TV series that instantly came to my mind was Jack Bauer. Did you ever watch 24? And he always had to make these hard choices that nobody else was willing to make. And our government does that. Every government does that on a daily basis. And as Americans or any citizen of any country, we just want to go about our happy lives and not have to be challenged daily with life and death decisions. So I'm curious also, what methods would you consider to be acceptable for your leaders or your military to take in order to get the truth and keep you safe? All really good questions, right? So this is a movie that is very interesting to watch and great to talk about with whomever you watch the movie, but it's not really one that I personally would want to watch again, just because some of the scenes are so difficult and uncomfortable. But I do think it's an important issue worth talking about. All right, let me give you some tips for parents. First of all, this is not a family-friendly movie. There are texts and subtitles that you have to read. There is profanity and a lot of F-bombs. Kids are going to definitely be bored with all of the political talking and the legalese. There is portrayal of physical and emotional torture, and even a scene with forced sexual acts on prisoners implied and partially demonstrated for all of those reasons and more. It's just not appropriate for kids. However, the movie does teach some really interesting themes visually and in other ways symbolically, such as the humanity and the value of life, freedom, national security, values, choices and consequences, power, fear, revenge, compassion, guilt versus innocence, doubt, the right to a fair trial, wrongful imprisonment, duress, good guys versus bad guys, and how do you tell which ones are the good guys and the bad guys, and accountability. All right, now whenever I watch movies, I always write down interesting lines or funny lines so that I can share them with you. And I include them also on my written movie review, which is at moviereviewmom.com. So you can run over there and check that out. But I'll share a couple of them with you right now. First, there was a funny line, and really this movie doesn't have a lot of humor. This was probably one of the few humorous lines in the movie. And it's Shailene Woodley, and she's talking to the Mauritanian, and he starts to speak English. And she says, "Oh, you speak English. How did you learn?" And he kind of snippetly says, "Just like you, one word at a time." And then a really interesting line I thought was also spoken by the Mauritanian. And he says, "The word for free and forgiveness, it's the same word in his language." And of course, I didn't know that that was true, but I love language. And I thought, wow, that's deep. That's really profound. That is very, very cool. All right. So, are you dying to know what grade I'm giving this movie? Well, I'm giving it an A minus. Overall, I thought it was very well done with very important issues. Okay, now before I run, let me give you a couple of recommendations of other movies that you might also enjoy. The first one that came to my mind is the movie Snowden. In fact, I just watched it again the other night with my husband for the second time. And again, it brings up a lot of questions about what is acceptable, what is not. And as an American, of course, I was embarrassed to watch that movie as well. And then the second movie is one that is a little bit different, but also brings up issues of justice, mercy, fairness, trials, and all of that. And it's an excellent movie called Just Mercy. So check those two out if you haven't seen them already. All right. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. And thank you to those who are going over to Patreon to support me over there. I really appreciate it. And there are free ways to support me as well. Just simply subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, commenting down below, and inviting your friends to join us over here. And speaking of joining, be sure to visit us on my Facebook group called Movie Review Mom, where we have lots of fun conversations about movies we love and hate. All right, that's it for today. I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.